All right. Good morning. Going with dark mode today. Yeah, we're just going to roll with it. Happy Friday to you all. Check it out. Glad you're here. And we're going to get into how to write storytelling raps part 2. This is a continuation from the stream that is how to write how to write storytelling rap part 1, where I'm kind of demonstrating my process for creating a storytelling rap. I'm also writing something that I'm actually interested in putting out, at least like right now. The concept that I'm talking about or want to talk about is something that I feel like needs to be out, meaning people can benefit from that. So before we get into it, let me know if you're here, if you're rocking with me. Just say something in the chat. Just say what's up. Let me know where you're from. Post questions, all that good stuff. And as I see them, I'll do my best to kind of address them as I go along here. And yeah, we're going to hop into it in a little bit. Just thank you for the love and the comments and all the support for these streams. It's been really, it makes it worth it, getting up every morning for the most part and sitting my butt in this chair and just turning on the camera and, doing my best to help people express themselves through this great and magnificent art form we call rap and MCing. So, all right, let's get to it. But before we do, I'm actually going to check the YouTube side of things just to see because I thought I fixed the comment issue, but maybe I didn't. So let's take a look. So yeah, please say what's up in the chat just to let me know that I have my everything working. And if it's not working, then I can get rid of that little widget. Let's see. All right. All right, Marcus, I see you there. Yeah, but I'm not seeing you on the screen. Yeah, I'm all right, man. How you doing? It's just early in the morning. 8 a.m. is early for me. Man, I'm such a night owl. It's crazy. All right, we're going to get... So when we go to the next scene, we're going to get rid of the... it's working there. Sweet. All right. Bravo. All right, we're going to move into it. Okay. So let's kind of just do a recap of what I did in the part 1. So I talked about this real story, this real experience that I had with it, where basically like I'm just discovering I'm like my students. Like my students are always on my whiteboards writing like, follow me on IG at so and so blah 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 57. And I'm like, why are you guys so obsessed with followers and subscribers? Like what, like why? And then of course now that I'm back and I'm on the YouTube channel, I'm like watching that number maybe too closely, and I'm noticing that I have like visceral body reactions when like the number drops. And it's just like, man, like I know that's not really matters. So anyway, there's a real story for me there. And so I went through kind of the framework for stories that I gave out, just kind of like a quick one, character ideas. So character, desire, obstacles. And then I just kind of made a list, used my listing technique to just kind of come up with ideas for each of them. And then also added a category of message ideas, so things I might want to say and put out there. I also do what I often do, especially when it's kind of like I don't have a line to begin with. I flow web just to kind of get the brain going, and I find ideas that I like. Maybe I'll use them for this verse. Maybe I won't, but they catch my attention. They make me laugh as I'm doing it. So I circle those things. And then the question I left off with was this: how might I connect my circled ideas to my character ideas, desire ideas, obstacle ideas, and message ideas? So, so that would be essentially what I would do next. But I actually want to show you a different process, which I think actually works better for where I'm at right now. So let me know in the chat if you've heard of free writing as a technique. So it's not so much like free, like there's this thing called key styles out there where people like freestyle just by typing like whatever comes up they put down. But free writing where it's, you're not really trying to compose or rap in the moment. You're just kind of writing whatever comes to mind. So let me know in the chat if that's something that you've tried before. You have, Marcus? Cool. So that's kind of what I want to demonstrate now, because I thought I would have a little bit more time to kind of like hop back in to the flow mapping around this idea yesterday, but I did not. So the ideas that I have circled, they're interesting, but I want to see if I can actually really kind of figure out maybe even some lines or refine some of the message ideas through free writing. So if you notice, like a lot of this stuff that I'm doing is like I haven't even gotten to like the rap writing part yet. And I think that's necessary when you're really trying to craft a compelling story and not just try to write a story rap as fast as possible. So anyway, so I'm going to free write for a little bit. And it's basically kind of just verbal vomit. So whatever I think is going to kind of come out. I might start putting rhymes together. Who knows? That's the idea of it being free and improvisational. So, so what video is this about? William, this is about basically the stream I did yesterday. I started the story idea, and I'm just basically kind of showing you how it works. All right. Let me see. Let me check your comment before I get into this. So the weird thing about me is that I can freestyle and think of rhymes better on the spot. However, as soon as I hit the pen or pad, I lose touch. Don't trust any of my lines. Yeah. Okay. We'll get to that too. Cause I'll put it this way. Like I don't have anything like pre-cooked up here as far as like, a dope line I'm going to work my way to. It's possible that I might go through this whole writing session today and feel like about everything that I put down, and that's just part of the process. Or I might find just some nuggets and some gems. So hopefully walking you through my process with it and how I deal with the different vibes, if you will, because freestyling, it's in the moment, it's fun, and there's an energy to it. And rap writing, the energy is not necessarily there, at least for me, until I figure out, all right, this is what I really want to say. And like, yeah, that's a dope idea. That's a dope insight into, the human experience through my human experience, of course. So, all right, let me get into this and, be patient with me, because I think this is the first time I've ever like did free writing with like live streaming and chat next to it. So, and I'm very distractible. So we'll see how this goes. All right. So let's see. Literally we're going to do it like this. So, and thinking about followers and subscribers and that number and that feeling in my stomach when it goes down. My punctuation is going to be all over the place. Like, this is not grammar school. This is just getting ideas out. Let's see. Feels like a clench, a grip, and a punch in the moment, but I know in my head that it doesn't really matter. People often subscribe just for their sense of identity. So as I type that, that's actually kind of an interesting point. Like the things that we subscribe to and kind of like put things together. And this is part of my free writing process. Like literally, I'll be writing it now, but since I have people to talk to, I'm going to talk to you. So this is an interesting point because the things that like not all athletes buy Nike. Matter of fact, people who are never athletic in day in their life like to wear Nike shoes, right? Because it's not really about necessarily them going out and using the Nike shoes. It's about the idea of what Nike represents, right? Oh, thanks, man. So in this particular case, right, my channel represents this idea of being a master of the rhyme and being a master MC. So sometimes people might subscribe to the channel just because they're in pursuit of it and they click it and it's like, yep, I can say, that makes me feel like I'm really about this, rapping thing. But when it actually comes out to like doing the work and being involved in it, I don't see them, right? I do not see all these subscribers that I have like here watching this right now. And that's completely okay. There's no shade on anybody. It's just the reality of how humans work. So, and thinking about, so what I'm noticing right now, and I'm going to put it down, is this idea. So literally all that stuff I just said, in theory, like if I was acting like I was talking to people about my ideas, I would be writing down. And because I talk faster than I write, all that kind of comes up in this idea of like branding and the feeling, and also comes up as like, it's like, that's the line right now is I want to feel great, but I don't want to work at it. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, because I'm actually kind of getting excited by this idea, and the thing that's exciting is like this line right here: people often subscribe just for their sense of identity. And then the pen is not working too well. What else? Let me see. I also like this part here about when I'm talking about what it feels like in the moment. And then this whole segment right here. So this, I know this doesn't really matter, right? And so really now I'm thinking like, okay, so the sentiment, the idea that I want to put out there is this whole like the subscribe, like how many subscribers you have and followers you have, like doesn't, at least for me. So the number of subscribers and the number of followers I have does not matter, unless I'm actually making an impact on their lives. Like that's kind of what this whole thing is going to build towards. But I want to kind of like, in creating a story, right? I don't want to just kind of like boom, like tell you that and just go straight to like the end, right? Like where I'm ultimately going to end up. I want to take you on a journey for it, right? So there is, from this sentiment of like, I know what's in my head, there is a sense of like confusion. Like in the head, that's crazy. Meaning like in the moment when this is happening to me, it's like, oh, my subscriber numbers just went down. It went down by 2. Ah, that sucks. What am I doing wrong? Wait a minute, this is crazy. I don't understand why it's happening. I know people just might be like, some people might just be leaving because it's not for them, right? There is enough for me to say there. So now the question is, how do I make that into, start kind of creating some lines that could potentially be a verse, right? So now I'm thinking details. So what's the thing that I'm seeing? The thing that I am seeing, let me screw it up here, is the number go down. So, and I'm going to type it up to try to like save you my, trying to read my chicken scratch. So I'm going to start with a phrase like, well, I'm not starting with the phrase, but here's a line that I have, right? When the number declines. And right now, because it's there's like a declines. The first thing I thought of was spine. And so when the number declines, I feel a hit through my spine. Now, okay, I know in the feeling I wrote, in the pre-write I wrote gut, but gut does not rhyme with declines, so I said spine instead. So this is where I'm starting, right? So when the numbers decline, and I'll correct my spelling and all that stuff later. When the numbers decline, I feel a hit through my spine. I wonder if I can really survive and thrive online, trying to get my shine after disaster. And then I'll stop there because that's where the idea stopped. So that's literally a line. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but this is me just kind of going with the energy, right? And as I'm looking at it here, I want to maybe talk more about the confusion. So I'm going to like kind of skip down, and I'm going to check my time here in a second as well. Let's see. Let me get over here. Let me scroll this up. All right. So I'm thinking about the confusion right now as far as like just that I experienced in that moment. They say subscribes don't matter. It's the heart of the matter. Speaking your chapters. I'm kind of skipping some like steps. I'm basically like writing lines, and because I'm writing lines, I'm like in my rap writing mode. So literally I'm focusing on the confusion, and as I'm putting out some things, I'm finding rhymes that work, and then I'm putting things in front of them to make it makes sense to what I'm talking about. They say the subscribes don't matter. It's the heart of the matter. Speaking your chapters, not comparing. Happy ever afters. All right. I can kind of keep going. Afters. Yes, this is poet license right there. Speaking your chapters, not comparing. Happy ever afters. That line I'm gonna need to edit eventually, but I like the sentiment behind it, because essentially what I'm getting at here is the heart of the matter is basically speaking your story, telling your story, and not comparing yourself to other people and like what they put out there. And especially when it's like most people put out the best. They don't put out like their dirt. They don't put out the times that they struggle, right? They usually put out like, here's my finished product. Here's the place here's the one time a year I go on vacation to like take a look at these photos, right? Like they don't show you, they don't take show you every single day, right? That's it's they present their best face. So, and I think I might want to kind of go with that. Speaking your chapters, not comparing happy ever afters, because them be some characters. I guess I'm going to stay with the same rhyme for now. Characters acting, it's all good. Man, I'm going to look this quote up because I want to use it in the sentiment. Um, they, I'm going to write it because they don't know. Uh, they don't know. Don't show about the boys in the hood. Okay. Now, that line right there, they don't know, don't show about the boys in the hood. It throws off my story a little bit, and that's okay because this is all the pre-writing stuff. But I'm putting it there because I actually want to see what that quote is that Ice Cube says at the end of that movie. And I want to see if I can flip it to actually make it work in what I'm trying to talk about. All right. Okay. So I am excited about this. And like literally, I'm I think I actually have some time today and some space. My 2-year-old's going to daycare, so I'll have some thinking room. I'm going to work on this a little bit more, and then not Saturday, because Saturday I'm going to do something special for y'all. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But sometime next week, I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in about freestyling, and I'm releasing the freestyle blueprint for members next week. So I want to kind of do some streams about freestyling because I love it, you love it, and they both connect. But I will come back to it because I'm actually liking this idea. I'm liking this idea of speaking to our relationship with social media and telling some kind of story around it. So I'll come back to it for sure because I like it. All right, Indigo. Let me see what you're saying here. So, a story is supposed to impact lives, and always generally for those who write a lot of music, it isn't appreciated. Yeah, I think quite honestly, the storytelling form it's so powerful that you can do it. You don't have to do it like well for it to have an impact. I think I know sometime this morning I told a brief little story about just how I've been working on my storytelling skills, and it's been crazy like how hard I'll work to like be able to tell a story and try to make it sound perfect and sound like polished like the people you hear on Moth and on the radio and stuff. And of course, I don't get there because I'm relatively new at it. And it's crazy because even when I tell a story with all my likes and ums and pregnant pauses that aren't really planned and like in the middle of my thoughts because of my nonlinear brain and the way it works, this I've still had more impact with my personal stories than with like my best verses. And it just goes to show you that storytelling is like it's ancient, probably dawn of civilization. I was there. Even before that, we've been telling stories. So, cool. All right. So we got about 5 more minutes before I need to wrap it up. Let's just chop it up with some questions. All right. I see you, same old JoJo. All right. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's see what you got. Questions for me. Especially, I think Marcus, you were talking about how, matter of fact, let me see if I can make this a little bigger, and then I can just kind of like scroll through all of them. Scroll all through there. What? Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You're gonna make me authorize this every time? That makes no sense. Just keep the questions coming because it's once it gets authorized, then we're good to go. Push. Let's do it. Okay. So yeah, if Marcus, if you're still rocking with us, because I understand that feeling. I'll talk about that too if I don't see any questions. So the weird thing about me is I can freestyle and think about rhymes on the spot. However, as soon as I hit the pen and the pad, I lose touch and don't trust any of my lines. Trust comes with experience. I'll say that. So keep at it. And also, it comes with feedback. So write and fight your way through that resistance and that feeling of just kind of like not knowing. But then share it. Put it out there. Put it out to folks that will give you good feedback. Let you know, not good feedback and like, oh yeah, you're great. Like honest feedback about what it is. And people who are that you trust that aren't kind of try to like break your spirit with it as well, because that's, people are like, man, that was garbage. You should. Why are you even doing it? Right? Those kind of people should not be in your circle. But the people that will tell you the truth in your circle, but will do it with kindness and compassion and some empathy, share your writing with them. You get feedback, and as you get feedback, you get more experience. And as you write more, you get more experience. Then you'll be able to trust what makes a line work. And then also keep watching, myself and other channels just to keep studying on the craft and kind of know and to attune your taste to like, this is why this works. What I'll say about freestyling is that, especially if you're doing it with people, it's the joy of coming up with a creative idea in the moment that adds more to that idea, that even if you wrote it down, you would be like, well, if this was written, you'd be like, this doesn't really work. But in the moment when you're just kind of feeling the energy and vibe, and you go from like having no ideas to having all these ideas, you're like, that's exciting. So that can become a part of it as well. And then lastly, I'll say, if you can freestyle and you think of rhymes better on the spot, then record that and then use that as like your rough drafts for verses and then rewrite your freestyles. That is another technique to get yourself going. Because, a freestyle that you don't write down is still part of the creation writing process. So if you record it, then you can build on it and figure out those vibes in that good moment and then refine it to make it on point. And matter of fact, it is Friday. I just posted a new episode of Friday Reflection today. I tell the story that prompted this whole verse that I'm writing, if you want to check that out. So literally Friday Reflection with Desmond. You search it up, Spotify, Apple Music, you'll find it there. And in the archives, I've only been doing this like less than a year, but the archives of Friday Reflection, you will see that there's an episode where I actually do what I'm suggesting, Marcus. I record a freestyle and then transcribe it, then rewrite it, and then perform it again. And it's one of my favorite verses. My challenge is though, it's like I'm going to have to figure out a way to remember it in the way that I delivered it, so I can put it on any type of beat, so I can do this new age freestyle that people are talking about when you spit a verse that's not intended for the beat. So I'm about to work on that because the rhythm that I'm using was very like intricate and aligned with the track that I was using. Shout out to Versatile and Lifesavers Crew, because that was the beat that I was using in that. All right, y'all. It is about 30 minutes in. If you've been rocking with me, thank you. Stay with us. Oh, Saturday. Here's what's going down. I am doing the live drop-in. I'm calling the live drop-in chop sessions. It's basically, we're going to set it up where you drop into a Zoom call with me. You let me know what questions you have. We chop it up for about 10 minutes or so. And then we just kind of keep it circling through. And wish me luck. I'm going to test it out tonight. But I should be able to stream this whole session. So you'll be a part of the channel if you join me on that. So check me out tomorrow morning. I'm hoping to start the first coaching session around 9, and I'll probably have this stream up with just directions around 8:30, 8:45. And yeah, basically it's just a drop and chop session. So drop in, we'll chop it up about the craft, and then keep it moving. And it's just, me trying to help you express yourself, develop your skills for life in all meanings of that phrase. And yeah, if you like what we're doing, like what I'm doing, join the channel, become a member. I have found my fifth member, so the promotion of the free 1 hour session, that is all filled up. But maybe something will come next month. We'll see. We will see. But even if you can't get the 1 hour session, that freestyle blueprint, that's going to be available to you starting next week for members, as well as other premium content. And I'm going to set it up to where members will start getting first access to the videos. Because, I'll put it this way, like, this is the long form. If you're here with me, you're here to the end, besides having like work and all that stuff, you're not just one of those people that's like, hey, let me just subscribe so I feel like I'm an MC. So I feel like I appreciate the craft. Like, you're in it to do the work, you're studying, and I appreciate you. So you should be on the member side. So you go to the channel, you click the join button, and that's the way to join. Some people are having trouble accessing that. I'll just say maybe try it from a computer if you can't do it from your phone, or go look it through the desktop view. But memberships are starting at $4.99 a month. So I'm not trying to like dig deep into your pockets, just a little support to help the channel grow. All the good stuff, better camera, more editors to help me chop these things up to make it less lengthy. Because as you can tell, when I get going, I get flowing. All right, I'm done. I'm going to take my kid to daycare and get my work in. Until next time, remember, it's not about perfection. It's about connection. And I will see you in the next stream. I'll see you tomorrow, y'all.